Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries. Thank you for joining me as always. And as previewed, tonight we're going to talk about ABC after school specials, in particular mine. ABC school after school specials, if you weren't my age, they were these things that came on, very special things. They came on for kids in the later in the afternoon after school, and they addressed issues, uh, substance misuse, alcoholism, drinking and driving, teen pregnancy, all kinds of stuff. Right? I got stuck with an atrocity. So let's go there. So for, like I said, every, or mentioned in the preview, I think, basically every working actor or any sort of famous actor kid made their way through an ABC after school special. It was just the way it was. you just, Everybody that was anybody ended up doing an ABC after school special. It's just the way they were. It's just the way it was. So, being a working actor, up until a point, I at 17 or 18, 85. It was the same year I did Tough Love, and I think it was before I did Tough Love. So I was 17-ish, 18-ish, something like that. So this, I don't even know how I got cast in this thing. I don't know. I don't remember anything about being put into this atrocity. I did have a lot of lines, which was nice, and I did co-star with Justine Bateman, which was nice. Nice person. What little I knew of her. I also played boyfriend to Julie Dolan, who is a quite successful working actress, and she really nicely straddles between leading lady and character actress, which is a nice combination, especially if you want to work. Added value. So she was in it. We've got my friend Ellen Udi, the actress that I've done 2 movies with, in this atrocity also. I really hope that the person that wrote this is not watching this show, because it's going to be brutal. I may even use the F word. Okay, so then we have entrapped poor Justine Bateman at the height of her career in '85. Family Ties, it was everything. So she was at the height of her career, youngish, right there, smack dab in the middle of, that fame. And she had to be dragged through this. And a few of us working actors, Christophe St. John, who I had known forever, had a very small part in it. Mary Wicks played the teacher. She is an extremely famous old actress, meaning going way back. So it was actually a privilege and an honor to work with her, because Mary Wicks goes, this was an afterthought to Mary Wicks doing this thing. But, we all got to do what we got to do. So, hence, doing what we got to do, we ended up in this dirge, or comedy, or I don't know what it was. Okay, so we're in like this home family ec class. I don't know, I don't remember what they call it. And we're whatever, sophomores, let's say, or juniors. Who knows? I mean, Jimmy McNichol was like, what, 28, and he was playing in like 18, 17-year-old. So he was in it too. We'll get that. So we're in this class, and there is a teaching tool that is used usually in physics, where you're given an egg and you have to figure out how to bind it and wrap it and cushion it and whatever, so that you can drop it off of a certain height. Every physics class does this, and see if it breaks or not. Well, this got hybrided into eggs being babies. And they say, like, excuse me, people, but they say like cripple, and they say like child, ABUSE. with regard these eggs that are supposed to be babies. I mean, it was like uh, every word was an atrocity in this thing. I mean, I thought I had done bad things. No, no. And I know Justine Bateman. I mean, I don't know her, but I know that this was like a low point in her career. Didn't affect it because of family ties, but what were we all doing in this thing? So you have this class. She gives out eggs, and you have to sign contracts, and you have to take care of this egg for a week like it's a baby, and like make up all this shit like, you know, oh, I called at 2 in the morning, I called the doctor and he has a fever and whatever. So I get stuck as not stuck, Julie. I'm sorry. I am like completely love bound, like obsessed with my punk girlfriend, Julie. I was Chip, and of course punk whatever again, and we were like all lovey-dovey. It was like a thing in the series, in this episode, that we were in love and we're always like hugging on each other and snatching on each other. So we're the main couple friend. Then there's Justine Bateman, there's her girlfriend Elaine Udy, who I knew, and I also did a stage play with her, and Jimmy McNichol. Now Jimmy McNichol was an anomaly. I mean, I don't know how he ended up in this film. First of all, I'm not kidding you guys. I mean, was he 26? I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, Jimmy, but honest to God, this was like supposed to be 16-year-olds. Anyway, so Jimmy McNichol, let's be kind. He was miscast, or he was not something. Jimmy McNichol kind of goes way back, like kind of 10 years before this film, like Tiger Beat magazine kind of ishy. So this is 85. He's kind of like well into what I guess was a career. I'm sorry, Jimmy, or James. He was listed, and this is James. So very odd pairing. And let's just say Jimmy has a very unique approach to acting. I don't know what poor Justine Bateman did with these words. I mean, she tried her best, but it was asinine. I'll tell you in a second. So we have these eggs, and she signs the eggs so we don't replace the egg. And these are our babies, and we have to like write an essay on it. At the end of the week, we have to report all week all the stuff we do with the baby, which is an egg. It's a fucking egg. I'm sorry. Okay, so we all get eggs. And like one student breaks his egg and then he fails the class and doesn't get on the basketball team. Oh, that's nice. And poor Justine Bateman, every word was atrocious. I mean, like, oh my God. First her egg was a girl, then suddenly in the script it's a boy, then it goes back to being a girl, and they all have names. And the number of puns, egg puns, in this movie was absolutely would make your ass quiver. I mean, it's like a chainsaw enema. Everything was exactly. You have to come out of your shell. You have to shell out some money. I'm not oh my God, you guys. And this little brother, the poor Justine Bateman's little brother, who was stuck with like 98% of the egg puns, you wanted to, I'm so sorry, kid, flush you down the toilet. I swear to God, with the egg puns. I know it wasn't your fault. It was the writer, because this was written by some 80-year-old woman, in East Lansing, who had nothing to do but write an after-school special, like hearkening back to the old days. Okay. So we're taking care of these eggs, and then suddenly Justine Bateman's 50-year-old parents, who also have like an 8-year-old, but she's like, got whatever, 16, 17, and then she's got this little brother, and these ancient parents are suddenly with child. She says, oh, it's what they call a late-term pregnancy, or late in life. Lady, you were not, you were not having a baby, nor was your husband, judging from what was on camera. So Justine then suddenly gets like heartbroken that these ancient parents are having a baby. And then let's just cut to the other side, when Justine discovers that what she thinks is the rich fancy boy, Jimmy McNichol, because he arrives in a freaking limousine every day. Oh my God, come to find out he's poor. And his father is a limousine driver. Now, this guy that comes out of the room as his father, at like when she discovers, like, oh, you know, he's not rich. His father's a limousine driver. The man was like 86 years old that comes out of the room when you see that he's a chauffeur, putting on gloves, and he's British. And he's like 80 years old, and he's supposed to be Jimmy McNichol's father. But Jimmy McNichol also, you learn as part of this ridiculous story, that he is a big brother to two little brothers who have to be like 10. So they have like the 100-year-old butler as their dad, who's British, who lives in some ghetto of the suburbs. Okay, so back up. So he's the fancy kid that everyone thinks is fancy because he comes in a limo, and there's no explanation, there's no character. He has Zippo character. There's no nothing. He's just, you know, like they're assigned to do this egg project together. Oh my God, I can't do it with my girlfriend. Oh my God. Oh my God. So Ellen and Justine Bateman don't get paired up. She gets paired up for this egg project with Jimmy McNichol. And I get, of course, paired up with my girlfriend, who we are like practically making out in the class every day. And for some reason, Jimmy McNichol is an asshole to her. He's like a total bitch. Like, I don't have time for this. You do the egg. I gotta go. I don't have time for this class. I don't care. Okay. So then he goes from being a bitch to then suddenly he feels bad about being a bitch. And then he does all his homework about the egg for her because he was a bitch about the egg, the freaking egg. So then he shows up in class and he has this whole full essay about how he called the doctor in the middle of the night for a house call. House calls ended in 1980, for starters. So no one's coming to no house for some egg for a house call. And okay, so then it's like, oh, I'm kind of in love, but I'm still weird about Jimmy McNichol, who's this like vapid character. And oh my God, so stilted, James. You're so stilted. Ooh, I'm awkward now. So we go through endless puns of egg puns, and it's excruciating, you guys, because I think I said in the preview, there was one part in this atrocity that poor Justine Bateman had to bear her, like, I don't know how any of us got through this. The script said for me, when we gave back the eggs in class at the end, thank God there was an end to this, my girlfriend Julie is crying because she has to give back the egg because it's her baby. And I say, get this, I say, there, honey pie. Just pretend he's going off to college. First of all, what 16-year-old says, there, honey pie? Honey pie? What? And then pretend he's going off to college. The frigging egg is 5 days old in this fucking home ec class. The egg is 5 days old. So I'm telling her, there, honey pie, he's going to college. The egg. So then there's this like sort of like Justine Bateman kind of likes him and doesn't like him, and he likes her and kind of doesn't like her or whatever. And she discovers that he's not rich because he's the fancy guy. Fancy? Who says fancy? So she decides through the phone book, she finds his address through the phone book. And so he lives in some ghetto area outside of the suburbs, right? Okay. So she looks his address up in the phone book because he's not responding her calls about their homework, about the egg. So she and Ellen go to this ghetto-y area and like knock at the door. There's no one there, right? So they sit, and then it's dark. And then Ellen says, well, gotta go, blah, blah, blah. So she leaves, God knows where, into the night in this ghetto area. And then Justine Bateman decides to sit there and do her homework on the front stoop until 9:30 at night, waiting for Jimmy McNichol to come home. So she's in the pitch dark. It's 9:30 at night, and a cop comes up, pulls up in front of Jimmy McNichol's slum, and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says, "There's lots of crazies out here tonight. You better go home." So she she puts her homework back in her bag and leaves in the middle of the night, in the darkness, in a ghetto. And the cop watches her saying, what was with that egg? And drives off in his patrol car. So she's now 16, walking through a ghetto, and then bingo, she's home in the suburbs, upper middle class suburbs. Okay, so then she's got this conflict at home, and mommy's having a baby at 100, and she's taking it personally or something, or she feels like she's being outed, like from the family. She's 17, her 100-year-old parents are having a baby, and she's got a brother who will not shut the frig up with these egg puns. So somehow we get to the end, and there's some kind of I don't know what with Justine Bateman and Jim McNichol. There's just nothing. They just are civil to each other at the end. And then I'm practically making out with my girlfriend, and Elaine has nobody. She just says, "Oh, I learned about that spare time is not so important." I mean, I wish I could remember some of these friggin' lines. I mean, and then poor Mary Wicks doing this. I mean, I hope it was the last thing she did, or she did something better after this. So anyway, I gotta let you go. This is running way over, but I just had to let you know about how horrendous this piece of crap was. It was the worst thing I've ever done that was written. I'm sure it was the worst thing that Justine Bateman has ever done, or Jimmy McNichol. No wonder he spent the entire break in between every scene playing his guitar. He just sat in the dressing room and played his guitar. Justine Bateman had a really cute guy pick her up in a motorcycle, whatever, at lunch or at the end of the day. I don't know, you guys. It was madness. ABC School after school specials. I hope they weren't all like this. Okay, I hope I was true to form. Gave you some dish on ABC School after specials. I love you. Thanks for being with me every night, and it means so much to me, as you know. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.